time too. Something old, something new, something learned, and a good time too, Tom Singer.
The wedding was wonderful, and it had all the usual elements. There was the big church filled with people. There was the fidgety 4-year-old flower girl who sort of flashed everybody when she was up at the front. There were the beautiful bridesmaids in ugly bridesmaids' dresses. Madam Contest Chair, ladies and gentlemen, I had been to over 24 weddings, so I knew the routine. I would take the gift to the reception, there would be a chicken dinner, there would be a champagne toast, there would be a little dancing, and there would be cake. And then we would all wait patiently for the bride to throw the bouquet so we could go home. But something was different. When I arrived at the reception hall, I looked around and there were no crisp white linens on the table, no hurricane lamps with candles burning in the middle, things that usually populate a wedding reception. Instead, there were cardboard palm trees, colorful papier-mâché fish hanging from the ceiling. The tables were covered in seashells, and the centerpieces were wine carafes filled with water with live goldfish swimming around inside. It looked like a high school prom gone bad. Not a formal wedding reception. So, myself and the other guests, we took out our invitations and we looked at them because we were sure we couldn't have been in the right place. But we were. You see, the bride and groom had decided to throw a theme wedding reception without telling their family or friends. And since the groom's favorite television show was Gilligan's Island, that was the theme of the wedding reception. And it didn't stop there. When they came back from having their photos taken, the bride and groom were still dressed in the tuxedo and the elegant gown that they had worn at the church just a little while before. But the wedding party had changed into costume. They were all dressed as a character from the 1960s sitcom. There was Gilligan, the skipper to the millionaire, come on, you know the words, and his wife, the movie star, the professor and Mary Ann, here on Gilligan's Island. We were in store for a 3-hour tour. And the groom's family did not look pleased. But sometime between the Mai Tais and the Polynesian dancers that were hired to entertain us, everybody started having a great time. The bride's 70-year-old grandmother was even seen trying to get under the broomstick during the limbo. And then the caterers came in Hawaiian shirts and grass skirts, carrying a roast pig. Yes, the luau had begun. The entire experience for all 200 people in the room was incredible. When it came time for the toast, there was no champagne. But instead, the best man dressed as Gilligan raised a broken coconut to the sky and called on the gods and King Kamehameha himself to bless this union. And when it came time for the cake, there was no cake. Instead, they served Ginger and Mary Ann's favorite, coconut cream pie. As the evening was wrapping up, the bride and groom went to the microphone and they stood there and they thanked all of us for putting up with their little farce and enjoying the evening as much as we all had. And then the groom took out a large box and started drawing names because, as he said, what would a wedding reception be without door prizes? They had CDs, they had Starbucks gift certificates, and the grand prize, a giant sailfish mounted on a board that the groom had caught on a fishing trip a few years before, and his new bride had said would not hang. I'm pleased to tell you it hangs in my garage today, because my bride won't let it hang in my house either. I had the best time that day, and I was surprised, because I was always the type of guy who liked things a certain way. I wanted my round pegs in a round hole. I liked conforming to society. I never thought I would like a Gilligan's Island themed wedding. But you see, I learned some things that day, and the first thing I learned is that it's okay to be different, as long as you're true to yourself. You see, this bride and groom, friends of mine, were a little bit quirky. And it was okay for them to have this wedding. Everyone who knew and loved them had a great time because it was who they were, not who we were or who society wanted them to be. So it was okay for them to be different. The second thing I learned was that life needs more door prizes. I want you to think about all the people around you in your life who contribute to your life on a daily basis. How often do we reach into a bowl and pick their name and thank them with some small token for contributing to who we are as people? I've begun to do that, whether it's a small gift certificate, a handwritten note to somebody I love, a hug, or just a phone call to say thank you, to give them a door prize. And the final thing I learned that day is that success takes risks. I don't recommend that everybody have a Gilligan's Island themed wedding, but they took the risk, and it paid off in ways nobody could have imagined. Every guest who attended the wedding will tell you this story with a smile on their face that makes their face hurt. We had a ball because they took a risk. Can you imagine being this bride and groom who had this party without telling Daddy how you were spending this money? Or how much courage did it take to be this bride, to ask your bridesmaids to pay for an ugly dress, and then to only wear it for 20 minutes and then dress like Mrs. Howell? I learned a lot that day. It was an incredible day. I brought them a gift. But the true gift was something much greater than the Waterford goblets that I gave to them. The true gift was something that they gave to me. Madam Contest Chair.